When they signed Caitlin Clark to an 8-year, $28 million endorsement deal, Nike struck gold. So why in the world are they ignoring her? Her actions have put them in danger, and they have made the biggest mistake of their lives. Caitlin just wants to play basketball as much as possible. She is also involved in this political agreement, absorbed in this discussion about race, and interacting with Nike, a company that landed her a low-cost contract. Wilson declined to release a single Caitlin Clark advertisement and will not release a Caitlin Clark sneaker since Nike has decided to give up, telling her that they will delay marketing her until after they have completed promoting Asia. Since 2021, Nike has had a decline in worth of over $100 billion, 0 cents. Their CEO was forced to leave because of the dire circumstances, and many people asked that he be fired. Are sports losing their appeal? What is the current state of affairs at Nike, and how does it have anything to do with Caitlin Clark? As the WNBA season began this year, it was announced that Caitlin Clark had signed a hefty endorsement deal with Nike. The deal was worth $28 million, 0 cents, and lasted for 8 years. It contained a signature sneaker, which wasn't particularly noteworthy, but was a fair price for a generational snack, given that they may have just signed one of the biggest players of the next 20 years. Everyone else thinks that Nike has talent. They were supposed to make a major statement, but nothing really happened at the time. Since she signed this contract, Nike hasn't done much to market her. No ads have been shown to us. No Caitlin Clark merchandise has been spotted, and we have definitely not seen any of her signature footwear. Still, there are some encouraging developments. Nike just gave up a lot right now, you guys. Her WNBA season has come and gone. One of the rare generational skills capable of creating. LeBron James has signed billions of dollars. Michael Jordan, although Caitlin Clark was unanimously selected as the WNBA Rookie of the Year, Nike has no intention of making a shoe for her. Why not? It's obvious that Nike's official explanation is untrue. In April of this year, Caitlin agreed to an 8-year contract worth up to $28 million, 0 cents, with Nike. This was a good deal for Nike, especially since Caitlin will have a trademark shoe. First and foremost, this story takes a ridiculous turn. When Caitlin went viral in college, she had already signed a non-binding contract with Nike. She was twice as popular as Angel Reese, who finished second, and 4 times more popular than the most popular male player, Caitlin Rose, making her the most well-known collegiate player in the country. When she turned pro, she was courted by several shoe manufacturers and would represent the Curry brand as the face of Under Armour. Adidas and Nike supported her while she was in college, so she stayed with the company. Everyone was waiting for an update on her signature sneaker, but there hasn't been any yet. And this update is ridiculous. The most surprising part of this is that, as you may remember, Nike ran ads with Caitlin Clark when she was a player at Iowa, breaking both the record for men and the record for women in NC basketball. Nike put up this massive billboard displaying the message, "You own it if you break it." This also happened in Iowa since then, but they have since released new materials and ads. Then, after winning yet another MVP award, A'ja Wilson revealed an incredible fact about Caitlin Wilson, whose sneaker is expected to be released in the spring of 2025 after development began in 2023. According to this 2-year timetable, Clark's sneaker might be sold in stores in 2026 or 2027. Why is the 2027 Nike reasoning that it's a lengthy process that requires Clark and the Nike employees to work together, such as making millions of pairs and running an advertising campaign? So why are they acting so aloofly? In any event, there are things going on at Nike behind the scenes this year, and their stock has dropped by nearly 20%. I am aware that they have made recruiting and firing decisions as though there were a lot of moving parts, each of which looks so small and unimportant. When you consider the treasure trove that is Caitlin Clark, I think that Caitlin Clark's lack of exposure, endorsements, ads, merchandise, and other things she should have earned during her rookie season has more to do with politics, even if I know they're attributing some of it to that. Does that make sense? But there's still more had his own footwear line during his first season. So 20 years ago, Nike seized the chance to produce LeBron's sneaker and moved quickly. This man will be crucial. But there's a reason they can't do this for Caitlin Clark. And it turns out that there hasn't been a Nike commercial featuring Clark as a professional, even though it wasn't exactly imposed on the public. Given that some people believe that Caitlin Clark's 4 years as the world's biggest sports personality have driven these television numbers, Nike is lying if that's their line of reasoning. In 2003, shoe brands expressed interest in signing LeBron James, and the top item on the list was a signature sneaker. Reebok, both Adidas and Nike wanted to sign him, and even before he signed, Nike started producing his sneakers. They wanted the story to stay under wraps, so they came up with a code name inside LeBron that was spelled backwards, AR Zoom Noble. It was obvious that they had chosen a Zoom generation, and without LeBron's knowledge, they started making sneakers for him while he was still in high school. Their goal was to completely overwhelm him, and it worked when he made his NBA debut. Even if he wears Kobe sneakers and sets records, you're telling me that Nike can't make shoes in 3 years due to poor quality control? No, there's more going on here. The LeBron one is a product of his cooperation with Nike. Despite the fact that the plan had long placed Caitlin on the longest contract ever, Nike has chosen to ignore her since they are preoccupied with someone else. This is why she hasn't been in a Nike commercial yet. Otherwise, to summarize, Bonai and Nike looked into a generation's marketing potential and is using it to promote out-of-date products. Why is this happening and where is the money? Reputable author and well-connected Ethan Strauss said, "It is confirmed that Aja Wilson, a Nike athlete in WNBA, is involved. However, the peculiar Wilson has to do with the company's culture, which prioritizes quieting noise above creating the kind of noise Nike desired." Social media was extremely critical of Caitlin after she agreed to a $28 million 0-cents deal with Nike. In fact, the following headline appeared in a reputable newspaper claiming that Caitlin Clark would be receiving her own shoe, which is the reason for the agitation. This is on top of the fact that it is unquestionably connected to Nike athlete and WNBA VP Aja Wilson, according to contacts with insiders. According to this story, even though Caitlin chose to wear her own. Women's basketball benefits from sneakers, but the knowledge of the deal has angered people. What's wrong? White WNBA players are the only ones, according to some supporters. Given their iconic sneakers, many people think that Las Vegas Aces player AIA Wilson, who had never played in a WNBA game, should have gotten her own sneaker before Clark. She had the greatest amount of momentum of any athlete in history after taking part in a national championship game that drew in over 20 million viewers. I wonder if I were Caitlin Clark's management again, I have no idea what goes on behind the scenes, but I would seriously be reconsidering the deal I signed given that night. He missed out on this opportunity despite being the largest athletic sportswear brand in the world, and we heard nothing from them the entire season. This was followed by a straight draft in his rookie season, during which he broke an absurd number of records and won one Rookie of the Year, though the exact announcement has not yet been made. It's just absurd that you wouldn't capitalize it. How can you pass up a chance like that? If Caitlin Clark and Aja Wilson both dropped their sneakers today at the same time, I do believe that they would sell 100 times more than AAA Wilson's. I'm sorry to everyone for breaking the news, but that's the reality, no matter how fair it may be. Even though AAA is a 3-time MVP, her jersey sales were 6 more than in the league, even behind Kate Martin, who played very little in the second half. We saw that the WNBA's top jersey sales this season were not the actual numbers. Do you think that this scared Nike? Yes, it is. Their goal is not to grow the WNBA. Rather, it is to focus on inclusion, equity, and diversity. What they're doing to Caitlin Clark is crazy. It's misguided and lacks long-term vision. Therefore, Caitlin is not incompetent at basketball. Rather, she is racially and unfairly biased. Why would Nike put justice before profits? Even worse, considering that this clearly reveals a racial agenda, why would Nike back down? If they had just moved on in the most profitable way, it wouldn't have been as problematic, but they are hiding behind tenuous excuses like falling sales and layoffs. They still have a lot of time to complete the AA tasks. Wilson stated that since their WNBA department is still operational, they should just give Caitlin some time. This is because they are aware of what is going to happen. As has happened in the past, AA will be forgotten and Nike will have to pay for a contract that isn't making enough money in the NBA. Later in his story, Ethan made a great comparison between Tim Duncan and Allen Iverson. Although Duncan was clearly the better player, Iverson controlled shoe sales, so no one complained about fairness. In fact, Tim Duncan sneakers were put through 2 tests by Nike before being withdrawn due to low sales. But you know who showed no concern? If A.E.L. Wilson were like Tim Duncan, Caitlin Clark's circumstances could be different. But doesn't it make logical that Issa enjoys appearing in Nike advertisements? She seems to embrace the idea that it is racist, but take a look at what she said to her teammate Kelsey Plum about seeing Paige Bucker as another white plum athlete. Most people want to be in advertisements and on billboards because it is profitable. Thank you, but Aza's response indicates that Paige's wealth has helped her succeed. The WNBA tweeted about the first preseason game in which Caitlin Clark made a notable appearance, but the coach of the Lynx in the USA stated that there are other teams playing tonight besides Caitlin Clark, ITC. Of course, she is an excellent basketball player. However, if AA is the top female athlete representing Nike, they don't want to irritate her. Imagine Caitlin's reaction if Nike had offered her a pair of sneakers right away. Now, many people were incensed when a WNBA and Olympic coach used the hashtag, which represents multiple athletes. When the 22-year-old made her preseason debut, one older woman was furious. But it wasn't all that happened. Caitlin was left off of the Team USA roster, as was to be expected, and the reason given was that she still hadn't earned it. Yes, it's not envy, it's a basketball decision after leading all rookies in points, field goals, and assists. Caitlin was selected for the WNBA's first team based on her steals and minutes played, despite the fact that only 300,000 people typically attend WNBA games. She garnered 4 votes for MVP since she led all players in assists and three-pointers. In order to accommodate all of the people, her first-round playoff ticket cost more than the sum of the previous WNBA playoff games, even though her games were able to draw over 1 million television viewers. Despite all of the excitement, the Washington Mystics recently hosted Caitlin's team, the Indiana Fever, and had to relocate to the Wizards Arena, establishing a new record for WNBA attendance. In the end, she is genuinely amazing. I want to be clear that even though Nike landed Caitlin Clark in a big deal, they haven't released a statement congratulating her on winning the championship. Team USA admitted there was a mistake to leave her off the list, and now the day is approaching when Nike will regret ignoring the greatest talent the WNBA has ever known. Fans are also starting to notice, which is causing Nike to face significant backlash. Take a look at these remarks. Roe, too. Although the WNBA has not yet revealed the Roadie winner, the Adidas representative praised Cece's accomplishments in a lengthy article. I'm shaking my head because it seems odd that I haven't seen any Nike ads with Caitlin Clark since she became a professional and won Rookie of the Year. She looks like a huge miss, receiving tens of millions of dollars in compensation, but she still doesn't own a single shoe. They know that the WNBA despises Caitlin Clark, Nike desires to. The WNBA is a toxic environment, so it's wise for Aided to celebrate Caitlin Clark's outstanding rookie season, while her sponsor, Nike, remains silent to avoid upsetting Asia. This will let a heterosexual Catholic woman who identifies as Catholic and wants to play professionally stay out of the spotlight. What say you, Nike? Do you think the reasons for the former CEO's resignation are obvious, or is your fear of a social media backlash the true reason you're so hesitant to give Caitlin Clark her own shoe? Please use the space to express your opinions provided for remarks below.